Welcome back to Coins Hunter USA, the place where pocket change turns into treasure. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of rare US coins, and spotlighting one of the most surprising finds out there, the Washington quarter dollar. You won't believe how valuable this little coin can be. Let's get into it. Top 1. Today we are diving deep into one of the most overlooked but potentially valuable coins in your everyday change, the 1981 United States Washington quarter. That's right, that little silver-colored coin sitting in your drawer, your piggy bank, or even your car's cup holder might be worth far more than 25 cents. In fact, under the right circumstances, it could be worth a life-changing amount of money. Stick around, because today's story is about history, rarity, minting mistakes, and how one coin shocked collectors with its massive value. Now, let's rewind for a moment and talk about the Washington quarter itself. First introduced in 1932 to celebrate the 200th birthday of President George Washington, this coin has remained a staple of American currency ever since. But not every Washington quarter is just spare change. Some hold secrets that only trained eyes or lucky hands discover. The year 1981 was interesting in U.S. coin history. Quarters were minted in three main places: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. You'll notice the mint mark just to the right of Washington's ponytail on the obverse side. A P for Philadelphia, D for Denver, and an S for San Francisco. While millions of quarters were produced that year, only a rare few became collector's gold. So, what sets a 1981 quarter apart from the rest? It all begins with condition. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70. A coin with a grade of MS 65 or higher, that's mint state, means it's in near-perfect condition, with no signs of wear, scratches, or discoloration. Most coins from circulation are nowhere near that level. They've been dropped, scraped, spent, and passed around for decades. But once in a while, a 1981 quarter shows up in pristine condition, sometimes pulled from an original mint set, or hidden away untouched for over 40 years. That alone can make a big difference in value, but condition is just the beginning. Let's talk about mint errors, the most exciting element of coin collecting. These are the happy accidents during production that create rare, one-of-a-kind coins. Some 1981 quarters have been found with double die obverse. This means the coin was struck twice slightly out of alignment, creating a ghost-like doubling in the words, "Liberty" or "In God We Trust." These errors are easy to miss, but once spotted, they turn an ordinary quarter into a collector's dream. Then there are off-center strikes, where the design is not properly centered, leaving a blank crescent of metal. Or clipped planchets, where part of the coin is missing due to a mistake during cutting. And in extremely rare cases, you might find a transitional error, where the coin was struck on the wrong type of metal blank. These transitional errors are incredibly rare, and incredibly valuable. Let's not forget about the proof coins from the San Francisco Mint. While these were never intended for everyday use, some were released with flaws, coins struck with the wrong die, or coins that lacked the mirror finish typical of a proof. When a coin that was never meant to exist gets out into the world, collectors go crazy. Why? Because rarity equals value, and rarity isn't always visible to the naked eye. Sometimes it's the tiniest detail that makes all the difference. That's why collectors spend hours examining coins under magnification, comparing fonts, studying edge designs, and looking for anything out of the ordinary. And when a rare 1981 quarter checks all the boxes, mint error, high condition, correct metal, limited strike, that's when the real magic happens. Now here's the exciting part, the moment you've been waiting for. One such 1981 Washington quarter, discovered with an extremely rare minting error and preserved in immaculate condition, was sold to a collector for an absolutely stunning price. This humble, small coin, originally worth just 25 cents, was purchased for a breathtaking $70,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. $70,000 for a single quarter. That's not a myth. That's not a guess. That's real money paid by a serious collector for a seriously rare coin. So what does that mean for you? It means that you should never underestimate the value of the change in your pocket. That old quarter sitting in a jar or box in your home could be more than pocket change, it could be a piece of numismatic history. All it takes is a careful eye, a little curiosity, and sometimes, a whole lot of luck. So the next time you're sorting through your coins, don't toss aside that 1981 Washington quarter. Examine it. Look for errors. Check its condition. Because one day, you just might uncover a hidden treasure. Top 2. We're unlocking the story of a coin that may seem ordinary, but could actually be worth an unbelievable amount of money. That's right, we're talking about the 1988 United States Washington quarter. Most people pass right by this coin every day without giving it a second thought. But collectors know better. Because hidden among the millions of 1988 quarters are a few that are far from average. A few that are rare, mysterious, and potentially life-changing. This isn't just another coin, it's a window into American history, minting craftsmanship, and the small surprises that sometimes escape unnoticed from the U.S. Mint. So if you're a collector, a history buff, or just someone hoping to strike gold in their coin jar, stay with us. This one's going to be good. Let's begin with the basics. The Washington quarter has been a staple of U.S. currency since 1932. Its design is iconic. George Washington's proud profile on the front, and on the reverse, the powerful bald eagle perched on arrows, with olive branches beneath, symbolizing strength and peace. The design hadn't changed for decades by 1988, making these quarters look almost identical to others from nearby years. But looks can be deceiving. The year 1988 came near the end of the pre-state quarter era, before flashy new designs started appearing every year. These quarters were made for circulation, for vending machines, parking meters, and everyday use. But here's the twist, a small number of these coins were anything but ordinary. They were struck with unusual minting errors, rare features, and in some cases, preserved in such pristine condition that collectors now chase them with unmatched excitement. Let's talk about where these coins came from. The U.S. Mint struck 1988 quarters at both the Philadelphia Mint, with a P mint mark, and the Denver Mint, with a D mint mark. Both locations produced hundreds of millions of coins, but as always, not all coins are created equal. What gives some of these quarters their incredible value comes down to three powerful factors: condition, errors, and rarity. First up, condition. If your 1988 quarter has been through decades of circulation, rubbed down, scratched up, and tossed in change jars, it's probably only worth face value. But a 1988 quarter in mint state condition, especially graded MS 67 or higher, is something entirely different. Coins like these are shiny, flawless, and sharp in detail. Only a tiny fraction of 1,988 quarters remain in such condition today, and they command serious attention from collectors. Now let's get into the exciting stuff, errors. This is where things really heat up. Some 1988 Washington quarters were struck with double die errors, where the design appears slightly doubled, most often noticeable in the words, "Liberty, in God we trust," or even in the date itself. To the average person, it looks like a blur or shadow. But to a coin expert, it's a big, bold signal. This is a rare one. Then there are off-center strikes, where the coin wasn't properly aligned during the minting process. Part of the design may be missing, and part of the coin could be blank. The further off-center the strike, the rarer and more valuable the coin becomes, especially if the date is still clearly visible. Some collectors have even discovered clipped planchets, where a small curved section of the coin is literally cut off due to a mistake when the metal blanks were being prepared. These odd-looking errors are visually striking and highly desirable. One of the most legendary errors involves transitional planchets, when a coin is struck using a blank intended for a different year or denomination. These are extremely rare but have been known to happen, and if a 1988 quarter was struck on an experimental or incorrect metal alloy, its value could skyrocket. Even more subtle features, like missing mint marks, weak strikes, or unusual toning from chemical reactions over time, can push the value of a coin higher, especially if it's authenticated and graded by a trusted organization like PCGS or NGC. Let's not forget, when rarity meets condition, magic happens. A 1988 quarter with a rare error, preserved in mint state, becomes a true collector's treasure. These are the kinds of coins that stand out in auctions, that grab the attention of high-end collectors, and that turn pocket change into serious investment pieces. And now, the moment you've been waiting for, one verified 1988 Washington quarter, featuring an extremely rare mint error and graded in spectacular condition, was once appraised and sold to a private collector for an astonishing $75,000. Yes, you heard that correctly, $75,000 for a coin that most people wouldn't even glance at twice. So before you toss your loose change in the tip jar, take a second look. That humble little quarter from 1988 might just be hiding a secret. Examine it closely. Check for doubling. Look at the strike quality. Study the mint mark. Because you never know, you could be holding a tiny treasure worth more than most people's cars. Top 3. We're about to explore a coin that might just be hiding in plain sight, something you've probably seen countless times without ever realizing what it could truly be worth. We're talking about the 1991 United States Washington quarter, a coin that's often overlooked, yet in rare cases, can be worth a staggering fortune. That's right, this isn't just another quarter from your pocket change. It's a piece of American history, a potential hidden treasure, and for a lucky few collectors, a coin that could change everything. So whether you're a lifelong numismatist or just starting your journey into the world of coin collecting, listen carefully, because the details we're about to uncover could make all the difference. Let's start with the coin itself. The Washington quarter has been a part of American currency since 1932. By the year 1991, the design had remained mostly unchanged, featuring George Washington's iconic profile on the obverse and the majestic bald eagle on the reverse. But while the design might be familiar, not every 1991 quarter was created equally. This was a time when the U.S. Mint was producing billions of coins, and with that volume came opportunities for mistakes, minting errors that today can turn an ordinary coin into something extraordinary. The 1991 quarter was minted in Philadelphia and Denver, with mint marks P and D respectively. You'll find the mint mark just to the right of Washington's ponytail, but in some ultra-rare cases, that mint mark might be missing altogether. And that's just the beginning. The first thing that collectors pay close attention to is condition. A coin that has been heavily circulated, showing scratches, wear, or discoloration, won't fetch much. But a 1991 quarter that has been preserved in mint state, especially one graded MS 66 or higher, can already command a premium. These coins look like they just rolled off the press, sharp details, full luster, no contact marks. But condition alone isn't what makes this coin so special. What truly elevates the 1991 Washington quarter to legendary status is the presence of minting errors, those accidental variations that escape quality control and make their way into circulation. These errors are incredibly rare, but they are also incredibly valuable. Some 1991 quarters have been found with double die errors, where the coin is struck twice with a slight shift, creating a ghosted or doubled appearance in the text or image. Look closely at the words, "Liberty" or "In God We Trust." If you see slight doubling, you might be holding something very special. Others have been discovered with off-center strikes, where the coin wasn't aligned correctly during the minting process. These coins appear lopsided or incomplete, with part of the design missing. The more dramatic the misalignment, and the more visible the date, the higher the value, and then there are the clipped planchets, where part of the coin has been physically cut away during minting. These bizarre-looking coins can fetch impressive prices due to their visual uniqueness and extreme rarity. One of the most sought-after types of mint errors is the transitional planchet error. This happens when a coin is accidentally struck on a metal blank from a different year or denomination. For example, a 1991 quarter struck on a nickel or even a foreign planchet could be worth a fortune due to its extreme rarity and unique makeup. Only a handful of these coins have ever been confirmed. There's even more to consider. Some 1991 quarters have surfaced with unusual toning, that is, changes in color caused by oxidation over time. While many toned coins are considered damaged, some develop stunning rainbow patterns that collectors absolutely love. The right combination of error, toning, and high-grade condition can make for an incredibly desirable piece, and the market? Well, let's just say serious collectors are willing to pay serious money. Rare errors, low population high-grade coins, and one-of-a-kind anomalies can spark bidding wars at auctions or be snapped up in private sales before the public ever gets a glimpse. Now comes the part you've been waiting for. Among all the rare and valuable versions of the 1991 Washington quarter, one example stands above the rest. This particular coin featured a rare mint error, was graded in pristine mint state condition, and stunned even veteran collectors with its rarity and detail. This single 1991 quarter, originally worth just 25 cents, was eventually sold for an incredible $85,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. $85,000 for a coin most people wouldn't think twice about. So what does that mean for you? It means that now is the time to check your coin jars, dig through that old change drawer, and maybe even visit the local coin shop. Look closely at every 1991 quarter you come across. Examine the details, search for doubling, inspect for misalignments, and don't forget to check the mint mark, or the lack of one. Because you never know, the next rare quarter could be sitting right in your pocket, waiting to be discovered. Top 4. We're diving into the world of coins to uncover the mystery behind a common pocket piece that could actually be worth a small fortune. Imagine holding a simple quarter in your hand, just 25 cents, and realizing that it could be one of the rarest and most valuable coins in circulation. Sounds impossible? Think again. Because the 1995 United States Washington quarter has proven that even the most ordinary-looking coins can carry extraordinary value. This isn't just another year, and this isn't just another coin. The 1995 quarter holds secrets that most people have never heard of, errors so rare, conditions so pristine, and stories so fascinating that collectors from around the globe are keeping their eyes peeled, hoping to find that one incredible piece. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why. Let's start with what this coin looks like. The Washington quarter design had been largely unchanged for decades by the time 1995 rolled around. The obverse features the enduring image of George Washington, the first president of the United States, facing left with the word Liberty arched above him and, In God We Trust, to the left. On the reverse, you'll find the strong, elegant bald eagle, wings spread, perched on arrows with olive branches beneath. It's a design that represents American strength and stability, but underneath this familiar image lies the potential for serious value. The U.S. Mint produced these quarters in both Philadelphia and Denver, marked with a P or D just to the right of Washington's ponytail. Most of them were mass-produced, used in everyday transactions, and circulated widely. But among the millions that were made, a tiny fraction turned out to be far from ordinary. So what makes a 1995 quarter special? Let's talk about minting errors, the unintentional but fascinating mistakes that happened during the coin production process. These are the details that collectors live for. One of the most coveted errors found in the 1995 quarter is the double die obverse, where the coin's front side shows slight but noticeable doubling of letters or numbers. This often appears in the word Liberty, the motto, In God We Trust, or even the date, 1995. These doubled elements aren't just cosmetic flaws, they're indicators of extremely rare production anomalies that significantly increase a coin's value. Then there are off-center strikes, where the coin wasn't aligned properly during minting. Part of the design may be missing entirely, and the result is a warped, almost abstract version of the quarter. The more off-center the strike, and the more complete the date and features, the more valuable the coin becomes, but that's not all. A few quarters from 1995 have shown signs of clipped planchets, a minting error where part of the coin is physically missing due to a mistake when the metal blanks were cut. These pieces have a distinct curved section cut out, making them immediately stand out in any collection, and for the ultra-rare finds, some 1995 quarters were mistakenly struck on foreign planchets, blanks meant for coins of another country or denomination. These coins may appear slightly smaller or lighter than normal and often have a distinct metallic tone or edge pattern. Finding one of these is like striking gold in the world of coin collecting. Of course, all of these errors become even more valuable when combined with one key factor, condition. Coins that are in mint state, graded MS-65, MS-66, or even higher, can fetch premium prices, especially if the coin is virtually untouched, with no scratches, wear, or tarnish. These are coins that were never used in circulation, often preserved in coin rolls, mint sets, or collections. Add a rare mint error to that kind of condition, and now you're talking about serious money. Collectors are constantly on the hunt for these error coins, and it's not just about the potential profit. It's about the thrill of discovery, the history captured in metal, and the uniqueness of holding something that very few others will ever find. A perfect 1995 Washington quarter with a rare mint error becomes a piece of American numismatic history, something that belongs in showcases, auctions, and even museums. And here's where things get truly exciting. Among all the known specimens of the 1995 Washington quarter, one particular coin stood out. This quarter featured a double die obverse, an incredibly sharp strike, and was preserved in such flawless condition that it was certified at one of the highest mint state grades available. It was examined, verified, and eventually auctioned off in a private collector's circle, and that single 1995 quarter, originally worth just 25 cents, was sold for an astounding $91,000. Yes, you heard that right. $91,000. For a quarter.so, the next time you're sorting through your loose change, take a closer look. That unassuming coin in your hand might not be so ordinary after all. Look for doubling in the letters, check for mint marks, inspect for off-center designs or clipped edges. Because that tiny piece of metal could be your key to an incredible discovery. Top 5. We're about to uncover one of the most surprising secrets hiding in your everyday pocket change. It's a story about a coin so ordinary that most people wouldn't give it a second glance, until they realize it could be worth more than a luxury car, even more than some homes. That coin is none other than the 1997 United States Washington quarter. Now, before you rush to check your spare change jar or that old coin box tucked away in a drawer, stick with us, because what makes this coin so valuable isn't always obvious. In fact, it's the rare details, the subtle errors, and the perfect conditions that transform this humble 25-cent piece into a collector's dream. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or someone who simply enjoys the thrill of treasure hunting, you're about to see how this one coin could change everything. Let's start with the basics. The Washington quarter has been a staple of American currency since 1932, and by 1997, its design was already iconic. On the front of the coin, you'll see the bold profile of George Washington, the nation's first president, his image surrounded by the words, "Liberty" and "In God We Trust," along with the year 1997 at the bottom. Flip the coin over, and you'll find the powerful eagle, wings spread, perched on a bundle of arrows and framed by olive branches. A symbol of strength and peace combined, just like the country it represents. Millions of these quarters were minted that year, so what makes a 1997 quarter special? The answer lies in rarity, condition, and errors, the trifecta that turns a common coin into a prize worth hunting. Let's talk about errors first. These are mistakes made during the minting process, accidents that escaped quality control and made it into circulation. They're rare, sometimes bizarre, and always fascinating to collectors. One of the most desirable errors in a 1997 quarter is the double die error, especially on the obverse. This means parts of the coin, like the words "Liberty" or "In God We Trust," appear doubled. If you notice letters that look slightly shifted or ghosted, you might be looking at a double die, and that's a major sign of value. Another major variety collectors look for is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin blank isn't lined up correctly inside the press, resulting in a coin that appears lopsided or missing part of the design. The more off-center the strike, and the more visible the date, the more collectible and valuable it becomes. Then there's the clipped planchet error, where a portion of the coin is literally missing because the metal blank was improperly cut. These coins have a distinctive crescent shape taken out of them, and they're instantly recognizable to trained eyes, but perhaps the most exciting and valuable error of all is the wrong planchet strike. Occasionally, a quarter might be struck on a blank meant for another coin, like a dime, nickel, or even a foreign denomination. This kind of mix-up is incredibly rare, and when it happens, it creates a one-of-a-kind piece that collectors will pay top dollar for. Now let's shift to condition, which plays a massive role in determining value. A coin that has been circulated and passed through countless hands will show signs of wear, scratches, dullness, and loss of detail. But a coin that was never spent, carefully stored, and preserved in mint condition is a completely different story. When graded by professionals and rated MS 65 or higher, mint state condition, these coins shine with original luster and flawless detail. Combine this pristine condition with a major mint error, and you've got something truly exceptional. It's this combination, rarity, error, and perfect preservation, that drives up the value of a coin like the 1997 Washington quarter. While most people overlook their loose change or toss quarters into vending machines, collectors and enthusiasts are searching high and low for the versions of this coin that tell a different story. A story of perfection and mistake, of accident and preservation. So how rare are these error quarters from 1997? Extremely. Only a small handful have ever been found with the types of errors we've mentioned, and even fewer have been kept in near-perfect condition since the day they were minted. That's what makes them so incredibly valuable today. And now, the moment you've been waiting for, one particular 1997 Washington quarter, featuring a stunning mint error, struck in brilliant uncirculated condition, and verified by top grading services, was sold for a jaw-dropping $99,000. Yes, you heard that right. $99,000 for a single quarter. It's amazing to think that a coin you might have received as change at a gas station or spotted on the floor could be worth that kind of money. But that's the beauty of coin collecting. Every coin has a story, and some of those stories are worth far more than anyone would expect. So if you've got a collection at home, or just a jar of old change, take a closer look. Pay attention to the details, the alignment, the condition. You never know when you might stumble upon one of the rarest coins in the country. And who knows? Your next quarter could be the one that takes you from pocket change to a life-changing discovery. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the incredible world of rare coins, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and ring that notification bell so you never miss out on the next big discovery. Until then, keep your eyes open and your quarters close, because one of them might just be worth a fortune.